Thank you, Neil. Here's what's happening in the region. 9 murders were committed in Trinidad and Tobago between Good Friday and Easter Monday, sending the year's murder toll to 158. The Newsday reported that the latest victims were 2 people who were shot dead in Laventille hours after Buju Banton's I Am Legend concert at the Queen's Park Savannah in Port of Spain. 4 people were murdered on Saturday, 3 on Easter Sunday, and 2 on Easter Monday. In Mexico, the first 3 months of 2019 have seen a 9.6% increase in murders, the BBC reported. The report says 8,493 people were murdered from January 1 to March 31, a 9.6% rise from the same period in 2018. The figures contradict statements by Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez, who had said that the murder rate had not risen since he took office. Mr. Lopez was sworn in on December 1, 2018. He had campaigned on the promise to drive down violence. The state with the highest murder rate so far for 2019 was in central Mexico, where 2 powerful drug cartels are fighting for control. Internationally, Sri Lanka has held its first mass funeral amid a day of mourning for the victims of Sunday's bomb blast. The death toll from the attacks on churches and hotels has risen to 321, with about 500 wounded, the BBC reported. A state of emergency is in effect to prevent further attacks. The Islamic State group claimed the attack on Tuesday via its news outlet. Sri Lanka's government has blamed the blast on local Islamist group National Tawhid Jamaat. The country's prime minister said the government believes there may be links to IS. A BBC correspondent in Sri Lanka says the IS statement should be treated cautiously. As with previous attacks that the group says it carried out, it provided no evidence for the claim. A large-scale pilot of what has been called the world's first malaria vaccine to give partial protection to children has begun in Malawi. The RTSS vaccine trains the immune system to attack the malaria parasite, which is spread by mosquito bites. Earlier, smaller trials showed that nearly 40% of the 5 to 17-month-olds who received it were protected. Malaria cases appear to be on the rise again after a decade of success in combating the deadly disease, the BBC reported. According to the most recent annual figures, global malaria cases are no longer falling, sparking concerns about its resurgence. Malawi is the first of 3 countries chosen for the pilot to roll out the vaccine. It aims to immunize 120,000 children aged 2 years and below. The other 2 countries, Ghana and Kenya, will introduce the vaccine in the coming weeks. A Saudi prisoner has been executed and crucified, according to a statement by the country's state media. The man was one of 37 people executed on Tuesday on charges of terrorism. A statement added that the men were charged with adopting terrorist extremist ideology, forming terrorist cells, and harming the peace and security of society. One of the men executed was aged just 16 at the time of his arrest, according to Amnesty International. Executions are usually carried out by beheading. Crucifixion following the execution is reserved for crimes seen by the authorities as even more serious. In Tuesday's executions, those accused had already attacked security headquarters, killing a number of officers, the Saudi press agency statement said. The punishments were carried out in several locations, including the Saudi capital Riyadh, Mecca, and Medina. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Neil.